been in my zone. Bitch, I'm in my bag. I really don't know how I got the swag, how I got the juice. I'm just getting loose. I'm just warming up. This ain't nothing new.
Cool. Hello, everybody. Snake just said, I'm Carlos. I'm the National Sales Manager here at Toby's, and currently the Australian Brewers Cup champion. So super happy about it. The whole team is super excited, super pumped. And so let's talk about how we pick that coffee. So, Simon,
Hi.
where do we start? How we pick that coffee?
Process to pick a comp coffee that can win the Australian National Championship. You put together all the best coffees you can find. So for us, I was depleting our freezer from all the craziest coffees we had stored over the years. Put them on a cupping table with a few things that we managed to source all around the world. Cup everything blind and see if there's one cup that stands out. And in that case, there was one coffee that literally crushed every other cup on the table. Turns out.
Super important to mention that the coffees we were comparing is like
all the best coffees.
Correct. Like people have competed with those coffees in previous years in other countries. Coffees I competed in previous years with other competitors' choices, and even like that, there was one coffee that was outstanding. Important to say as well that we kept this blindly, and so when we tried to find out what was the coffee that was like the best, it turned out to be a coffee from Colombia. The moment I knew that is when I said, that's it. I really don't want to consider more options. That was my dream, pretty much. My dream was always competing with a Colombian coffee. Why is that? Because I'm Colombian, if you have not noticed by the accent. And so, finding a coffee that was at the level of the best coffees we have ever tried, being from Colombia, it was just a clear sign for me that that was what I wanted to use, and I wanted to build my whole thing and competition program around that coffee.
Yeah, so this coffee has actually a pretty cool name and a very complex processing method. So it's a washed processed coffee, but that has gone through two-stage anaerobic fermentation. So first in whole cherries and then depulped with mucilage, and then it's been washed with, two times with waters at two different temperatures. So that makes the coffee super flavorful because it's been fermented. It's an anaerobic fermentation, but it's also very clean. And I think that was one of the things that we found in this cup when we cupped it. Well, like that coffee has crazy flavors. It almost felt like it was a natural processed coffee, but it had the acidity of a wash processed coffee. It had the body of a wash processed coffee. So it was sort of like the best of both worlds, best of washed and naturals. And you know how sometimes with wash processed coffees you don't have enough flavors, and with naturals they're not clean enough. That coffee was sort of like the best of both worlds.
Perfect.
Due to the processing. Yeah.
Super grateful with you, Diego. Thank you for producing this amazing coffee. Anyway, let's go back to the brew recipe. So we have here, as we said, the brewer. What we chose was the flatbed brewer, in this case the origami. What we are using today, it is, smell of that. Jesus.
It's Friday.
14 grams of coffee. 14 grams of water. We use 200 grams. So it's a 1:14 ratio. The temperature of the water, super important. Temperature of the water is under 90 degrees. We found that going over 90 degrees, we were getting more of the dark chocolate, cacao notes of the coffee, which again, we're not saying they're not good, but we were after a different side of the flavor spectrum. We wanted to get the red fruits. Cool. So in this case, we ended up with 88 degrees water. And something super important, it is the coarse grind setting. So you want to show the camera. I'm not sure if it's possible to see there.
Yeah.
How
coarse sea salt kind of.
How are you going to brew it? And then
cool. So yeah, let's keep talking about the recipe. Okay, actually, for people that are actually using quinoa, as we talk about, when we say coarse, we refer to 4.7 in quinoa. Let's go through the recipe. What am I gonna do? 88 degrees water, 14 grams of coffee. We're gonna start our timer, and we're gonna go the first pour of 100 grams. So normally, I just use a circular motion in the center, the coffee bed, and then go to the sides without touching the walls. And finish at the end. 100 grams in about 15 seconds. What people consider the blooming or the timing between the two pours. We, again, did a lot of testing on this. We tried 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and every single variable up to 2 minutes. And we ended up at 1 minute and 30 seconds. The reason for this, again, is this coffee is very soluble. It has lots of flavors that you can get depending how you brew it. So if you brew it with 3 pulses, 4 pulses, 5 pulses, you will have a very different expression of it. We're getting really close to 1 minute 30, so I'm going to explain that in a second, but I'm going to go to my second pour. So now 1 minute 30, and we go, and easily, without touching the walls, we go to 200 grams. Finish in the middle, and 200. Cool. So we were explaining that we ended up the coffee bloom for 1 minute and 30 seconds, or waiting that between the two pours. Want to explain like what was the what we found?
So usually, the whole reasoning was let's go coarse in our grind setting so we can have more clarity of flavors, get less of that dark chocolate, and promote more of the floral and tropical fruit notes. Now, if you're grinding coarse, obviously you're going to get a weaker cup of coffee. So you need to find ways to increase strength. And one way of doing that is waiting a bit longer between pours. So what happens when your coffee is fully drained, the water is fully drained out of your coffee bed, and you're still waiting a few more seconds, let's say another 40, 50 seconds, the water is still penetrating the larger coffee particles, and that helps foster the extraction, increase the extraction level. So that allows us to just extract a bit more out of the coffee while grinding on a coarse to grind setting. So do the test at home. Try brewing a coffee, waiting 30 seconds between pours and waiting a bit longer than that, and see how that impacts the final cup. This is pretty much what we did for the whole process. Yeah, also some tropical fruits. So some of that super ripe pineapple up front, and I agree with Nick. A lot of dark chocolate notes up front in the aroma. And red fruits.
Cool. I think from the very beginning, from the aroma, this is where the coffee starts getting super red. So yes, it has that cocoa chocolate notes, but then it's very clear to find those floral. And when we say floral, I think it goes more into the hibiscus, very subtle rose water. And again, getting a little bit of berries or red fruits, correct?
Red currants, a bit of that pomegranate as well as the coffee cools down. But yeah, I think up front, there's something we didn't even mention when we first tried the coffee. The one thing that coffee has is an insane acidity. Like the acidity level is through the roof, super complex. There's different types of acidity in this coffee, and that's definitely what we're getting right now.
Thank you very much, guys. Ciao, ciao. See you.